Hey guys, hope everyone has had a beautiful weekend. Daylight saving for some of you guys over east, so that makes it even harder for me to be able to schedule calls over here in Perth. So we've got some people that are 3 hours ahead, some that are 2.5 hours are ahead, some that don't do daylight saving, and then the WA people, just to make things a little bit more confusing. So it's probably about close to 3:30 for some of you, but only 12:30 over here in Perth. So you guys have nearly done for the day, and we're just getting started. So what I'm going to be focusing on today, what we're going to be talking about, is why you're not an endurance athlete, okay, and why racers aren't endurance athletes. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot of racers make in assuming that they need to be chasing endurance when actually they don't. Okay, so obviously we see a lot of riders and racers doing a whole heap of cycling, a heap of running, a heap of swimming, long distance rowing on the rowing machine, lots of long distance stuff that doesn't require too much weight training. Okay, and that's the biggest mistake that most racers make, is actually going into training assuming that they don't need strength. Okay, and having the focus of their training into the endurance side of things. Now, this starts to become a big problem, because there's one massive difference between what endurance athletes do and what strength athletes do, and a massive difference between what racers do and what triathletes, Ironman, marathon runners do. And that big difference is a 100-kilo motorbike. Okay, 100 kilos. So 100 kilos isn't just a little bit of weight. 100 kilos is a fair bit of weight. Okay, and something that requires strength. No amount of endurance is going to allow you to be able to move 100 kilos if you don't have the right amount of strength. Okay, you need to be able to have the strength to move that 100 kilos around. Now, it's all well and good that yes, your races go for a long period of time, and yes, you do need the endurance, but you need strength more than you need endurance, because if you don't have the strength, you're going to be worn out very, very quickly out on the racetrack. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that racers make, is simply chasing the wrong domains. Even if they're doing the right type of training for their objective, hey Adam, they're actually chasing the wrong thing by actually chasing endurance instead of chasing strength. So racers are more strength athletes than they are endurance athletes, because you have to move 100 kilos, okay? Doesn't matter how quick your marathon running time is, how quick your 20K is, your 5K time, your beep test, how quick your 5K row is, okay, how far your 1K or 500 meter swim is. All that shit doesn't matter. None of it matters at all if you don't have the strength to be able to move 100 kilos. So you're going to be far more effective by simply just strength training than you would by simply just doing cardio or long distance based stuff, endurance based stuff. Okay, and that is because you are moving a 100 kilo bike. So a swimmer doesn't have to deal with any external weights. A cyclist deals with an external weight of about 10 kilos at max. A runner, did I say runner already? I don't know if I said runner. Anyway, running, walking, rowing, all don't have external factors. It's just body weight. Okay, yet when we're going out on the track, we've got 100 kilos. So we need to be able to make sure that the majority of our training, a high level of our training, is made up of strength. And that's important, because we need to make sure that we have our strength at high enough levels to make that 100 kilo bike seem like fresh air. Okay, and most racers out there don't have adequate amounts of strength to be able to have that their bike at a low percentage of their maximum level of strength. So let's just say that the most weight you can lift, okay, is a little bit over 100 kilos. And that means when you get on the bike, it's going to be really, really hard, because you're going to be working at close to 100% of your maximum level of strength while you're out there on the bike. Okay, and that's going to start to be a big problem for you, because you're going to get worn out very quickly. Okay, no amount of endurance reps or 4 sets of 20 that you're doing at the gym, or 50k cycles or 40k runs is going to do that for you. You need to have the adequate levels of strength. Your aim should be to make being on the bike only use 60 to 70% of your maximum level of strength. And what this is going to mean is that you're going to be able to throw the bike around. You're going to be a lot more powerful. You're automatically going to improve your level of strength endurance. Okay, and that's what we want to be able to focus on. Now, although we're improving your endurance, we're not doing it by training your cardiovascular system with using steady state cardio. We're getting you stronger. When we make you stronger, it makes the lighter weights a lot easier. Now, I think I've used this example with you guys before. If we can get your squat for example, from at 50 kilos, think about how many reps at 20. Let's just say you can squat 50 kilos once, just once. How many times would you be able to squat 20 kilos? Keep that number in your head or put it in the comments. Then, if we can get your squat from 50 kilos to 100 kilos, how many times would you be able to squat that 20 kilos now? Now, obviously, the answer is going to be a heap more, okay? You're going to be able to squat that 20 kilos a lot more. What that means is that we've just increased your strength endurance, okay? No amount of 20 rep sets is going to make you stronger, okay? Everyone thinks that, oh, we've got to beat your train endurance, we've got to do 20 rep sets, which is the biggest load of bullshit going around because you're dealing with 100 kilos. You don't need endurance, you need strength, okay? And you will get that muscular endurance that you need when you're developing your overall strength. If you're not developing your overall strength and continuing to get stronger with your pure strength, then that's going to be an issue for you because you're not really going to get much out of doing endurance exercises, out of doing 20 rep sets, okay, out of going for cycles for hours and hours or long distance runs or long distance cycles and all the rest of it. That's going to hold you back, okay, and you need to be strength training, and that's one of the biggest areas that most racers miss, and not only from a performance point of view, but from an injury prevention point of view. And this is something we spoke about on previous live streaming, is being able to preempt future injuries. Okay, being able to know now that in the future there is a potential with the sport for you to have an accident and that could end up in a serious injury. What we want to be able to work on is minimizing the risk of you getting injured when an accident does happen. Okay, it's not going to mean that, oh, you're never going to have an accident again, but what we want to do is minimize the effect that you actually get from that injury or from that accident. Okay, so instead of falling off and ending up with broken bones or having weeks and months off training, we want to make sure that you get back into. We want to make sure that you can get back up and keep going. Okay, or it's just a sprain or something fairly light that's not really going to affect you too much. Okay, allowing you to keep going. So prehabilitation, prehab. Okay, something that just about no racers focus on. They only worry about injuries when they occur instead of preventing them from happening in the first place. And that's done through strength training. So it's important to be able to focus on being able to develop your strength, being able to get stronger, both from a prehab point of view, being able to make sure that we're not getting injured, we're not having any future injuries, but also being able to make sure that we improve your performance as well, because that's going to make you throw that bike around a shit ton easier than what you are now, okay, with half the amount of strength. And not enough racers are putting the time in to develop their strength, okay? Everyone's down the whole, oh, we don't lift weights, we don't do this, we don't do that. Or the people that are lifting weights are doing the incorrect exercises to actually get the maximum levels of strength from their training into their racing, okay? And that comes from having the right strength training. So that sometimes you do need to get help with that, okay? You need someone to be able to help you who has the knowledge, whether that's me, whether that's a strength and conditioning coach that's in your area, a well-known personal trainer, someone that's able to put a program together for you, because you need to be developing your levels of strength, okay? We need to be training, not exercising. And I suppose that's the biggest takeaway between those two, or the biggest, lost the word. I don't know what word I'm looking for. What we want to decipher is between, are you exercising or are you training? Okay, and the best way to be able to decide through that is, okay, are you rocking out the gym and using exercises, just general exercises, general training stuff to be able to get the heart rate up? Or do you have a program that's specifically put together to be able to get you from where you are now to where you want to be in the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, that's going to take you there? All you have to do is do the work, okay? And many people don't even have that path mapped out. Many racers and riders don't have that path mapped out to be able to take them to where they want to go, okay? And that starts to be a big problem, because if you don't have the path mapped out to where you want to go, how can you expect to get there? Okay, you're just kind of like, you're just spinning the wheels. You're just rocking up to training and you're putting in work and doing stuff, but it's not really meaning anything. It's not bringing you any closer to where you want to be. So it's all about, then again, comes down to goal setting. So going on a little bit of a tangent, it comes back down to goal setting. Knowing where you want to be, knowing what you want to improve, knowing where you knowing where you want to be, so that then we can reverse engineer and map out the path to be able to help you get there in the quickest way possible, okay? So you need to be able to set goals. Then we need to be able to map that path. And commonly, that path is going to involve strength training, because most racers aren't anywhere near as strong as what they need to be, okay? They think that they're strong, or they're chasing after endurance, they're chasing after the wrong areas of performance, which actually isn't helping them with their riding, okay? So does that make sense, guys? There's a few of you on here on the live stream. So I want to make it a little bit interactive. I like having a little bit of engagement. Does that all make sense? Does everyone understand what's happening there and why we need to be able to involve strength training? So just comment below. Let me know if this is making sense and any questions that I can answer for you while you're on the stream at the moment. Cool. So got a few thumbs up coming through. Okay. Any questions, guys, with why we need to be able to implement strength training? And what I've just been through there with you guys. Okay. Strength training should be a pinnacle and a huge part of what you're putting into your programming, okay, and what you're putting into your training. And we need to be using the right strength training exercises to correlate and transfer over to what's happening on the weekend, what's happening on ride day, on race day, okay? And if we don't, then we're going to find that we're putting in all this work, not really getting the results. You should be able to track, and you should be able to know the exact improvements you've made over the last 12 months. So if you don't know if your training's improved and you can't tell me exactly where it's improved, then you need to be able to do something about that, okay? You need to be tracking. You need to have data. You need to make sure that everything is tracked. We've got a whole heap of data there showing your improvements, okay? And that's the biggest area. People think that or a lot of racers think they get to one level of fitness and they say they're fit or they're not fit. With strength training, you can never be too strong. You can always improve your strength, okay? That's something that you'll be doing for years and years and years. Hey, Daniel, and constantly improving. Awesome, Jake. Cool. That's good to hear. That makes sense. It's something that you need to be constantly improving. Most people either think they're fit or they're not fit, okay? Which is bullshit because there's different stages of fitness and different stages of strength, okay? And sometimes what we need to do is we need to be able to focus on being able to get into that strength training and being able to see the difference over a long period of time, okay? Not just 4 weeks, not 6 weeks, not 12 weeks, not 6 months, over the last few years, okay? And being able to track that. Now, strength is something that will continuously improve. If you're not tracking your strength and tracking your improvements over a long period of time, you're not going to know what's working and what's not working, okay? You're not going to know if the program you're using is actually getting you results or if it's not, okay? And you should be noticing consistent improvements. So on the bike this year compared to on the bike this year compared to on the bike last year, last 12 months, you should be able to find out your levels of strength from 12 months ago compared to now, okay? Seeing where they are, seeing the improvement. It's not like you just have bike fitness or you just don't. It's always improving. Even if you get on the bike and you don't have an issue with fitness because you've got the right program, you've been doing the right training, always be working to make it even better, okay? And that's the way we do that is through strength. Strength is the building block for everything, okay? Strength is the building block for everything, okay, which will help to be able to, just to answer Adam's question here. So if you're using a higher weight but can't make the designated reps, then what I would do is drop the weight down, Adam. So you always want to make sure that with your rep scheme, you're using the dedicated, you're doing the dedicated amount of reps. If you're finding that you're failing reps or it's too heavy, start back a little bit lighter and try and increment with smaller increments, Adam, to be able to help you. So in terms of strength training, so let me know if that answers your question, Adam. In terms of strength training, strength training is the building block for everything. The stronger we are, when we're using the correct movements, Olympic lifting, multi-joint movements, we see improvements in flexibility, okay? The stronger we are, we see the better our conditioning is. The reason our conditioning, our cardio gets better, because we're stronger, takes a lot less effort to be able to do the same movements. So that means if you're the same body weight and double the amount of strength now, when you jump on the rower, it's going to be a lot easier. When you go for a swim, it's going to be a lot easier. When you go for a run, it's going to be a lot easier because the muscles now are more efficient at doing their job. And what we're aiming at here is actually strengthening the muscle fibers within the muscle rather than making them bigger. So isolation exercises, okay, bodybuilding type exercises are designed to be able to tear the muscle fibers. So all your muscles are made up of these little strands of muscle fibers, okay? Those muscle fibers, there's two ways that we can get them stronger. Number one, we can break them down, tear them, they come back bigger and stronger, which means that your muscle mass increases, and you also get stronger, but you're going to have added weight gain. Or we can just make those muscle fibers more efficient at their job, okay, and better what they're doing. And that's what we want to work on for our racing, and that's how we work with strength training. Being able to make those muscle fibers just more efficient at what they're doing rather than trying to make them bigger, okay? Think about it as I'll use like a work analogy. Think about this. Instead of at your work, so whatever job you do, and just say you're really, really busy, okay? You've got heaps more people coming. Instead of hiring another 100 people, to be able to come and do the job and help out. Just make the current 100 people a shitload better at what they're doing. That's exactly what we're working out with muscle fibers. We're not trying to get more muscle fibers or make them bigger, okay? We just want to make the ones that are there more efficient. And that's how we develop that through strength training, by being able to make sure that we're making those muscle fibers as efficient as possible. The other thing to note with strength training is that we're also training a neurological movement pattern as well, which is the one thing that many people miss. People think because they're strong in the gym that that's going to transfer over to the bike. Not the case. Okay, doesn't matter how much you can bicep curl, how strong you are with calf raises or leg extensions or leg press or whatever you're doing, doesn't mean it's going to correlate over to the bike, because we're also training a neurological movement pattern. What a neurological movement pattern is how our brain tells our body to be able to perform, fire muscles, and in what order. Okay, so in other words, we get the message to our brain to go, to sit up and down off the seat, to move forward, put our leg out. Okay, that message goes through here, then sends a message to the rest of our body to fire and to bring that thought to action. Okay, bring that instruction to action. Now, we need to make sure that we're training that neurological movement pattern with our training during the week, so that it transfer over to what's happening on the weekend. And that's one of the other big areas that a lot of riders and racers miss, is they miss that correlation, the neurological movement pattern. They're too busy chasing strength in the gym, they forget about the neurological movement pattern and replicating movements from the bike with our training during the week. And that's done through multi-joint movements, through Olympic lifting, power cleans, snatching, power snatches, and drills for those movements as well, to be able to teach hip flexion, hip extension, exactly like what's happening on the bike. That's another conversation, crack on about that all day. So what we want to be able to focus on is making sure that our movements during the week reflect the movement patterns of what's happening on the weekend on the bike. Okay, and that's crucial to actually getting that strength during the week transferring over to the weekend. So I may have used this analogy before. Think of a maze. Okay, a maze like, you know, those like children's books where you have a maze, right? It has like the pot of gold in the middle, and you start from the outside with your pen and you map it out, and it has the roadblocks where it makes you go backwards and then start again and go back to the middle, or go back to where you were. Think about that. Let's just say I got a maze, some random maze, gave it to you, got you to map it out. Okay, start from the outside and go to the middle. How long will that take you? Pick a number. Let's say 10 minutes. Let's just say I'll take that map off you, okay, chuck it in the bin, give you the exact same map back, but now it's blank, okay? So it doesn't have your pen marks on it from previous, but it's exactly the same. How long do you think it would take you to do that next? Maybe 5 minutes. Let's just say I repeat that process again and again and again. What's happening there is we're actually making you more efficient. It gets easier for you because you already know where the roadblocks are. You know exactly how to get to the pot of gold now. That's exactly how your brain works. We need to be able to make sure that your brain knows exactly how to fire the muscles in exactly the same order, in exactly the same contractile capacity that you're going to need on the bike. And that's how we train that during the week, okay? And the more times we do that during the week and with the heavier loads, the better that transfer is, which is the reason we need to have such a big emphasis on being able to do that, okay? And that's why it's important to be able to do that. So it's not just strength that we're chasing and being able to lift heavy weights in the gym, although that's part of it. We need to train a neurological movement pattern, which is replicating the movement patterns from the bike with our training during the week, okay? So we're getting 3 or 4 sessions during the week training that pattern, and then training it again on the weekend, and we're going to get high levels of correlation rather than shit levels of correlation by doing the complete opposite during the week. So there's a whole heap of info for you guys to take in. Any questions, guys, post up. Let me know. I want to try and get a little bit more engagement on these live streams. How did everyone find this one? Was it helpful? Give me a thumbs up or a like if you found this helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to post them below and I'll come back to the post. Otherwise, if you have something specific you want me to talk about with the live streams, let me know. Post in the comments below and I'll get a live stream together for you guys. I want to try and make it as useful as possible. Also want to try and organise a Q&A for you guys. So organise a specific time where we can jump on the live stream and you guys can ask a whole heap of questions and I can answer them as well. But that's it for now. Any questions, you can post them below. Otherwise, have a great day. Train hard, race harder. See you guys.